supposed to buy a house when my rent is going up another $195 a month? It has gone up $720 in 4 years for the same place that I live in. $8,640 a year more for the same place I lived in 4 years ago. I'm sorry, property taxes are not going up that much that landlords are charging that much more. We had to stop blaming the economy, the government, the president. It is greedy people taking more profits in. When people tell you, just move somewhere else, why would I move to another state that's cheaper? Why should I have to uproot my family, lose my career, just to afford to live somewhere? You're implying people who live in where I live now don't deserve a fair shot at cost of living. And places with cheaper rent pay lower salaries. That's how this whole thing works for the most part. And my girlfriend's a teacher. Like, if she moves to a state with a cheaper cost of living, she might not even have a pension or her benefits anymore. Instead of telling the middle class to keep, looking somewhere cheaper, why don't you all align together and get people out of control that are doing this to us? You are always closer to being homeless than you are to being rich. Everyone just assumes one day they're going to get rich. And that's why they don't stand up for people just like them in the struggle right now. If not for the raise I got 4 years ago, I would be totally screwed. I don't even want to hand out or help. I just want things to not be so crazy expensive every year. Go buy pizza from where I work. Go buy my merchandise. I don't know.
My rent went up, and obviously every year the rent goes up. We all know about the annual rent increase. However, this time is a little different because the increase was way more than it was before, and it's just frustrating because where do they expect us to just get this extra money from? And it's every year my rent is going up, but I'm not seeing any improvements to my unit. I'm not getting new appliances. I'm not getting any sort of updates in my apartment. I mean, there's a laundry room in the basement of our apartment. I don't even see that being updated. None of the common areas are updated, and I think that's what frustrates me the most is not even reaping any sort of benefits from these increases. And because of the increase, I decided I wasn't signing another 12-month lease because the apartment is not worth the new price I'd be paying for it. I know I could find another apartment that's way less money, but why do these landlords feel the need to increase the rent and buy so much money? The small increases are not that big of a deal, but when the increase is hundreds of dollars more, it's insane. How do they expect us to pay that? Where do they expect this extra money to come from? Are we just supposed to pull it out of thin air, just make it magically appear?
Into my apartment in June 2023, I was paying $1,790 in rent. I just got notified that March 1st, my rent will be increasing to $2,023. Before everyone gets in the comments and says, you're doing this, you're making your choices. Okay, first of all, fuck you. I have a 2-bedroom apartment because I have a 1.5-year-old son, and I got this apartment because I researched every apartment within a 30-mile radius of where my dad lives, because my dad lives with my nephew. I'm the legal guardian of my nephew, and I need to be able to have quick, close access to my nephew. I take him to appointments, I pick him up from school, etc. What's shitty is that this is the market rate. So this is pretty standard if you want a 2-bedroom apartment. And mine's nice because it's new, but it's not fancy. It was made really everything's plastic and falling apart, and it, for all intents and purposes, it's not a quality apartment. It's safe. I love living here, and that's why I'm living here. But I was talking to my landlord, and I was like, listen, I know this isn't your fault. I know you're not setting the prices of these, but what the fuck? This is not a sustainable, how the fuck is anyone supposed to maintain their tenancy? I said, should I expect another huge rent increase? And he's like, yeah, in September, there's going to be another $80 to $120 rent increase. And I'm like, so let me get this fucking straight. I had to pay $5,500 to just get into this fucking apartment. I could live in a 1-bedroom. I don't want to because I just figured out crib training with my son. I pay electric and I pay fucking gas, which is another, $100 to $120 a month, on top of that. I hate that the issue is that I'm at a point in my life where paying another $120 a month in rent is pissing me off. I know that the solution is to just make more money so that this is going to happen and I'm going to have more wiggle room in my budget and blah, blah, blah. But what pisses me off is if you're not making $6,000 or $8,000 as a single mom a month, you're just how are you gonna make it? Who wants to be roommates with people that they don't know? And how many people do you know that you could trust to live with and that it wouldn't ruin your friendship if you lived with them? And what if I just want to live in my own fucking spot? What if I really like the peace of mind that I have in my own goddamn apartment? Why isn't there some sort of fucking clause that says, oh, you're a single mom with narcolepsy and you have a fucking disability and you're making X amount of money and we're gonna give you a little bit of a break. And I understand life is a jungle and no one's trying to give out handouts. You're hearing about how Elon Musk just uncovered all the government all the money that's going everywhere. Like, the government isn't, in general, they're not looking to help people. We know that. We just keep coming back to, like, okay, the solution is just to make more money, but there's only so many fucking hours in the day. I spent 45 minutes today researching other apartments in the area. I maybe have a tour scheduled next week, but here's the thing, it's like, yeah, if I get into this other apartment, like, what is that gonna look like, and how much do I have to put down? It's usually first and last month's rent, and then there's a damage deposit, and then there's usually a refundable pet deposit on top of that of a couple $100 or and then, you know, like, at least, and then a monthly pet deposit. And I have 2 cats, and I don't want to get rid of my cat. I'm not making this video to be like, oh, poor me, like, blah blah, but where my brain goes is I zoom out and I think about the bigger picture, and I think about, like, the regular people who are just trying to fucking survive, and, like, the average income, and, like, what it cost to just literally survive